Bennett. I am a senior at OU. I'm the former president of the Black Student Union. Oh, this is Athens Beautification Day. Black Student Union is here to help along with many other groups on campus. I was surprised at how many people, I mean, usually a lot of people come out, but this year a lot of people came out, and luckily it's a beautiful day. So we got the mulch out here, putting the mulch in the trees, picking up trash at the East State Street Dog Park. After several conflicts on campus, such as, altercations and, drama, which happens in every small community, it got me to thinking, why is it that we don't have this mutual respect for one another? And that led me to thinking, we don't really know each other. And that's because not only do we, not have venues to have parties or socials as a whole group, we don't have a place on campus where we can get together and get to know one another outside of a social setting, just like a party setting or things like that. And so because we don't respect each other, because we don't have the opportunity to get to know one another, we fight, and we don't have as much respect as we should have.
I think that the issues with the classes at OU, as far as in the Black community, have to do with the freshmen and sophomores not having the resources or things that we had when we were freshmen and sophomores. There was always some type of event, some type of party, some type of social that was going on. It was like the social atmosphere, it really has changed, and I think that has created a divide because we don't really know each other, and we don't know how to meet the people that we want to meet because there's no really open venue.
If we knew each other, we would have better relationships with each other, because I think we pretty much judge off of just our first reactions or things that we hear people say, but that person might not like them, or they have known them previously, so they may be just feeding us lies and things like that. So it all has to do with us not knowing each other, not having somewhere to go where we can get together as each other.
So I think if we have like you said, a central location where we can just hang out, be ourselves, then that'll cut down on a lot of the gossiping or, the backlash that people will experience when they don't know each other and they just start pettiness. And I feel like all of that can be eliminated, or at least, decline a little bit if people could just be like, I know her, she's a cool person, or he's a cool person, and it would just make our community better as a whole.
My social life isn't affected that much because I have options, but I feel bad for the underclassmen who aren't 21, who may not have, that venue like a bar or whatever to go to uptown.
How has your social life changed since your freshman and sophomore years?
Well, freshman year, we're in the dorms with everybody. You can't go to the bars.
And I don't really have the opportunity to meet them other than maybe at the bars, which I couldn't do when I was a freshman.
The only options that we have are bars, and if you don't want to go to bars, and you're pretty hard pressed to find somewhere outside of somebody's personal residence where you can really have fun.
I like the atmosphere that goes on here, but I often find that aside from going uptown and drinking, aside from those facets of life, or the Greek community, or the volunteer services, there's not a lot for us to do. So it's we can just hang out at the dorm or something. So now that we have houses or apartments, we're homebodies. There's nothing to do.
And the dorms revolved around probably going to house parties where freshmen weren't necessarily welcomed. And, yeah, social life freshman year wasn't that great, but now it's good.
So I think it affects them a lot, and not having anything to do because you're A, not 21, and B, you don't have a large group of friends or family to come together with. That's on top of each other is just kind of like a double negative. So I think it's important that we get some type of center or house or something where black students can come together, they can socialize with one another outside of drinking and, you know, have a good time.
Or do you feel like the minority community will have more unity if we had a place to call our own on campus?
Like a center?
Mm-hmm.
How is that different from the Multicultural Center?
Aside from people always like going to MCC, let's go to the MCC. Okay, but we can't do anything there. So we can study together. Yeah, but aside from that, not really.
Do you go to the MCC often?
No.
I used to, but now I'm like super busy because I've just gotten to grad school and all that stuff.
It's not big enough. It's not a big enough space. The hours don't accommodate us. A lot of us have organizations that we're part of, work, classes. We need somewhere where we could go after all of that at the end of the day to just relax and to socialize.
The Multicultural Center in Baker, because it's a multicultural center, it doesn't give you the feel that this is mine. You can't go in there and, you know, do what you want. It's a university space, so there are rules and regulations. However, I feel like if those were altered, it make people feel like, you know, I can come here and relax, get away from school. There's no rules. I mean, you're not gonna, you know, have a riot, but at the same time, you can feel relaxed because you know that, oh, I can eat in here, or I can watch TV and watch whatever channel I want, or whatever it may be. So I think that, you know, that is a place where we can go, but because of the stipulations, it's a little difficult to feel comfortable.
I view the situation of the black community at OU as like an estranged child that doesn't really know where to go or doesn't really have a place to call its own. Yeah, like, oh, a whole bunch of people are meeting at the library on the second floor to study, but then it changes to somewhere else, and it's kind of like our meeting place or something is it migrates to different areas around campus. So it's kind of like, I don't want to say like we're homeless, but it's like a homeless sense of community because there is no place that's set in stone where I know that I can be myself all the time and I'm going to see people like me and get to be relaxed. And it's important to be able to do that because college is so much of a change already, and it's so much of a dramatic difference from being at home, being in your own environment, to being around a whole bunch of other people. Yes, you will interact with different people all of the time, but it says a lot when you're able to identify with people that are like you, and that you can know that it's not going to be any type of judgment. You can relate to one another. You can have conversations about classes or different things that are going on in your life because you know that they can understand where you're coming from.
I personally think that it would just be good because then we could have a location to have like events and gatherings, like a central location. Not to compare OU to a bunch of other schools like Ohio State, they have their Hill Center. UC, they have their African American Center. Miami, they have a center where the black students go. I don't know the exact name of it, but they have events in there, cookouts, get-together, meetings, whatever. And we don't really have that, so we're always scrambling for a place to try to find. And then, like I said before, to just have a central location where you know, without a doubt, if I go in there, it's gonna be people that look like me, and I can be at home. Like I feel like that's what BSU did for me, but like, I feel like there's something special about like having a place, like a physical place where you can go in addition to a body of people. So I think that's why we need it.
I feel like if we had our own facility, we would be able to take care of it ourselves. We would be able to get to know each other. We could think of programs like one program that was at my high school was a mentoring program where they had actual students be peer mentors. And when they found out there was a problem in the community between two people, they would go find those two people and make them sit down together and talk about what the problem is. And most of the time it was just he say, she say stuff. So then that stopped fights, that stopped things from escalating any further.
Well, if there's any like, you know, hard feelings or anybody not getting along, like there's a place where it's gonna have to be out in the open. Everybody can just talk, and that's a good way to meet people who are older than you if you're younger and you feel like you could use some guidance in life, scholarly, academically, socially, whatever, then I feel like that'd be a good place for people to hang.
We could do late night tutoring, because I know a lot of students are they're still doing homework 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes you need help with stuff, but with Link's only doing tutoring hours at certain times and stuff like that, it would be a nice place to have other tutoring options and other things that people can do. And also
have to stress to the outside community, this is a place where you can come and ask questions, and if things that you don't know about Black people or just minorities in general, you should come and ask questions. Don't be afraid, because if you hold that kind of stereotype or general idea, you're never gonna know what we're all about or how we feel about certain situations.
Like I heard somebody talk about how UC has the different African art that they display, like something that shows our history.
I agree too, because we need to have a place where it can be like an African American museum, because I feel like that's what the university is going to want, is how it's going to benefit all students. And I think that if you have that in there, then there's no place on campus really where you can have not even just African American history of the U.S., but just African American history of OU, have that, and that can be educational to everybody.
If we have art and archive and stuff that has our history in there, like people will want to come and see it. You know what I'm saying? So it's not just like an arcade, but it's educational as well.
Yeah, I think they need to be educated on the fact that it's not just for Black students. I think they need to be taught that, it is a place for African American students to hang out, but that doesn't mean you're not welcome.
I think we need a facility like this because as a small community, we're not trying to separate ourselves from Ohio University. We just want somewhere to call our own. And I know that Ohio University, they were trying to do that with the MCC, but it's still not our space. We're forced to go in the back and eat back there and do stuff in the back rooms where the whole multicultural center is supposed to be our place.
MCC closes at 8 o'clock. A lot of times, especially during the week, people have organizational meetings. So when you're in there, during the day especially, there's oftentimes conferences that the Baker Center or other people are using within the university. And you have to be quiet. That's where the stipulations and the rules come in, because it's like, dang, I can't even come in here and relax. I can't, hang out with my friends because I have to be quiet because, someone's having a meeting in here and it's really important. So, if that wasn't the case, yeah, you could call your friends, hey, let's meet up, let's have a game night, but you can't. So,
are you proactive to engage in conversation with people that you don't know?
Yeah. I do all the time, and oftentimes it's at the MCC. When I see freshmen who I don't know coming in and out of the MCC, I might say, hey, what's your name? I haven't seen you before. And that's why I think it's so important to have a space like that, because it's so few of us that walking across campus and just running into someone you didn't know, it's very rare. So, that's a perfect venue, or a place like that would be perfect to get to know one another, which would, I think, ultimately unify us and eliminate, the conflicts that we have within our community.
Like when you watch the Planet Earth documentaries, how they even got that footage?
They be stationed for a month.
Yeah, they be there for months and months.
They be like just having cameras hanging up there, like, hey, you really sat there and watched this family of penguins?
Angel? That polar bear don't think his name is Angel.
Right, that's polar bear number 3.